Our third and final legend elevation this evening is for someone whose contribution to this sport has been felt not on the green, but in every boardroom, every committee, every governance structure that has shaped Australian bowls across the decades.
Recognised for an extraordinary lifetime contribution to bowls administration, governance and leadership across the state, national and international levels. She played a critical role shaping the direction and development of the sport in Australia, becoming one of its most respected and influential administrators. Her contribution extended across governance, officiating, event administration and international representation, helping strengthen opportunities for athletes, officials and administrators throughout the sport. Her leadership during periods of growth and change helped drive significant progress within Australian bowls, while her mentoring and advocacy supported the development of future generations within the sport. Highly respected across the global bowls community, her impact reaches far beyond individual events or positions held. Her contribution helped shape the modern landscape of Australian bowls through professionalism, governance and long-term strategic leadership. This elevation to legend status recognises one of the most significant administrative and governance contributions in Australian bowls history.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn to the screens as we welcome our third and final Hall of Fame legend elevation this evening, Betty Collins, OAM.
Betty Collins, OAM, devoted a lifetime to the advancement, governance and growth of bowls both within Australia and internationally. A tireless administrator and leader, Collins held some of the sport's most influential positions across state, national and global bowls administration. Her contribution included serving as President of World Bowls, President of the Australian Women's Bowling Council and President of the Victorian Ladies Bowling Association. Collins also served extensively as a selector, counsellor, committee member and Australian team manager, including across multiple Commonwealth Games campaigns. Her leadership and advocacy helped shape the modern administration and international standing of Australian bowls, while her contribution to women's bowls remains deeply significant. Already an inaugural inductee into the Bowls Australia Hall of Fame, Collins' contribution to the sport now sees her deservedly elevated to legend status. Please acknowledge the extraordinary contribution of Betty Collins, OAM, who is elevated as a legend of the Bowls Australia Hall of Fame.
We've had some fantastic people join me at the desk here with some wonderful stories to tell. Not too many people, though, have joined us at the desk who have a green named in their honour. And Betty Collins, you have exactly that at the North Wollongong Bowls Club. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Lovely to be here.
Now, you've had some great honours in your bowls life, I'm going to call it that.
Yes.
Was this just about the highest of the lot, to have a green named in your honour forever and a day?
Well, it certainly made me feel very humble, and I was absolutely staggered to think that the club would honour me in this way. And I look at it every now and again and I think I am very blessed.
How does the green play?
Oh, excellent.
Oh, of course it does, yeah. Deputy President of World Bowls in 2001 and then the President of World Bowls in 2003. It's an enormous organisation that continues to go from strength to strength. What were some of the challenges?
Well, of course, I commenced with unification, and that was a very exciting time and challenging in bringing all the countries of the world, men's and women's organisations together. Well, President Ian Evans, distinguished guests and people here tonight, bowlers and friends. In 2011, I was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and never, ever, ever did I expect to stand up on this stage again to accept an award. And when I listened to all the honours and achievements of the bowlers who've been awarded tonight, volunteers, etc., I feel even more humble. I did play bowls for just on 50 years, but the achievement of those people is extraordinary, and anything I've done, I've been absolutely delighted to do to support our sport, which I think is one of the greatest sports that there can be, because it's so inclusive of everybody, as we've seen tonight. I feel extremely appreciative and grateful to Bowls Australia, to the Hall of Fame committee, to select me for this, because although I played bowls, played at Division 1 level for many years, about 35, 40 years, but I certainly never achieved what players have who've been up here tonight. But when I was about in my mid-40s, because I could read and write, and I was probably 15 years younger than most people in the club, they decided that I would be secretary after being a member for about 4 months. And that was in 1978. I had started bowls in 1970. I'll go back to that in a moment. But in starting as secretary in 78, for the next 40 years, I held office of some sort or other up to being world president. And today I'm still on a couple of committees at the bowling club, the Bowls Committee, which I'm going to tune up this year, and that's why I've been asked to go on it, I think. The other one is the governance, and I've always been very interested to see that we do things in the best possible way that we can at clubs. As I said, I started bowling in 1970, and all my friends who played tennis thought I was stark raving mad to start at that stage of life, because I was just under 40. And I played because I'd gone to the bowling club in the pram, because my dad was a clean bowler, and my husband played, so I decided that I would play. And I loved it. I played at Lockley's Bowling Club in Adelaide, because that's where we lived. We were South Australians. Go the Crows. I didn't hear a lot of cheers for that. After 12 months of playing on the delightful Tiff Dwarf of greens there, which were 18 or 19 seconds plus, which was an absolute joy, my husband was transferred to the UK, and I played in Surrey for 4 years. And I wasn't going to tell this story, but President Ian gave me permission to tell it. I had played, as I said, at Lockley's on these very fast greens, and the first time I went to the club, the Ember Sports Club in Surrey, to play, of course you want to play well, and we're foreigners, being Australia in a foreign country, England. It was ladies' pairs and men's pairs, and I was teamed up with a lady called Christine Martin. And the green was so slow, running at about 9 seconds, I didn't know how to get my bowl up there, because I'd just been playing fingertip bowls. And she said to me a couple of years later when we were playing, Betty, she said, when you first came, and that day, first day that you played, I thought, what a bloody awful bowler. And I turned to her and I said, well, Christine, I felt it was a bloody awful green. So good luck at the Commonwealth Games, girls and boys. It was mentioned that I was involved in the unification of the sport, and I can remember, and I'm going to go over 3 minutes, I know.
There's no chance that plane hit the road, Jack, for you, Betty, so...
I was at a sports forum in Parliament House in Melbourne, and there was a break. It was run by the Australian Sports Commission, and it was a break at lunchtime, and I went up to the man who was running it, and I said to him, you know, I really feel the time has come for our sport to be unified, and I would like to know how I can go about this. Can you give me any pointers? And there was a pregnant pause of a minute or so, and he said, you know, nobody has ever asked me that question before, and I'm very proud to think that our sport of bowls was the first sport in Australia to become unified. It was a very testing time of character, and because there were people who didn't want to be unified, either men with women or women with men. I mean, they were married couples playing at the same club on the same greens under the same laws, but apparently it did make a difference. But anyway, it's worked very well, and I think Bowls Australia is a very, very fine organisation that has evolved through that. I have been very privileged to visit a lot of places, go to places that I never expected to visit, like Brunei, day in China at Shenzhen, when our exit papers were accidentally given in when we arrived, and instead of leaving at 6 o'clock, we didn't leave until midnight. All PNG, many, many different places. I've met some wonderful people, and I've been able to talk about our sport to all of them and convince people just how fortunate we are. I would like to say that I am just absolutely delighted to accept this award. I feel that when I look around and see all of the sports people, that I am very, very privileged to be standing up here tonight, becoming a legend of this sport. And I'd like to take this opportunity to wish all of the players who are going to compete in Scotland the very best of bowls. May you be as successful as you hope to be. It will be a challenge, it's always a challenge, but Commonwealth Games are really special, and I think it's so important that bowls is kept in that, in the Commonwealth Games. I was privileged to attend 4 of them, and Karen's first game in representation in Commonwealth Games was in Malaysia in 1998, and I was manager of that team. I was also manager for Canada in 94, and then on the jury and appeal in 2002 and 2006. So I've had the privilege of going to the Commonwealth Games many times, World Championships. The first time after unification, when the World Championships were played in Christchurch, when there were men's and women's teams competing separately, but at the same time. So, you know, sport advances, and again, I commend Bowls Australia for all their innovative ideas. As we've seen tonight, all the awards that are given to people for their volunteerism as well as their skill as bowlers. I do commend them, Bowls Australia, and I believe that they are, without doubt, the leading nation in the world of the sport of bowls. Thank you, everybody.